Hi, everybody. This is Spoony Bard. I want to talk to you guys about a movie I just saw, the Batman The Doom That Came to Gotham. I thought this movie was awesome. I really loved it, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. The scene that starts the movie off evokes images and themes from H.P. Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness. So it starts with Bruce Wayne and his group of orphan kids, which include Dick Grayson, Sanjay Todd, who's, I guess, supposed to replace Jason Todd, and Kylie Kane, who I'm guessing is like Cassandra Kane. They add a little bit of an adventurous flavor, being reminiscent of like Johnny Quest and Haji or Indiana Jones and Short Round. They arrive in Antarctica looking for the Cobblepot expedition. They find a ledger indicating the only survivors were Cobblepot and a crewman named Grendon. Bruce spots Cobblepot in the distance and chases after him. He falls down a hill and finds the entrance to a cave. Inside the cave, he finds Grendon chipping away at the ice. Upon gazing at the form in the ice, Bruce's mind begins to fracture. Grendon has removed his own eyes to avoid this fate. A group of mutated penguins attack. They are probably close to what Lovecraft imagined penguins look like. While Bruce is fighting them, the thing from the ice is implanting something into Grendon. Bruce defeats the penguins and carries a seemingly dead Grendon out of the cave. He blows up the entrance to the cave to keep anything from getting in or out. A mutated Cobblepot and his penguins watch as Bruce and the others return to the ship. Due to a lack of proper space, Grendon is placed in the freezer. Bruce has been tracking occult happenings all around the world. They point to Gotham, and Cobblepot's journal confirms there is more to it. After 20 long years, Bruce is finally returning to Gotham, but this time in the guise of a bat. As the ship pulls into Gotham, a mutated Grendon mutters about doom. He seems to be generating cold and is this world's version of Mr. Freeze. We get a flashback to Bruce's childhood. We see him with his parents in town as they are attacked by a crazed man yelling about a curse. Thomas and Martha are killed, and Bruce flees up a nearby clock tower. He catches a glimpse of some eldritch eye before bats swarm from the darkness. Back in the present, Sanjay stays on the ship while the rest head to the mansion. On the way, we see Gotham enforcing prohibition and the city suffering from economic decline. On the other side of town, Wayne Manor sits atop a hill looming over the city. Lucius Fox is waiting to greet them, and he tells them that their things have been sent to the wine cellar. Bruce corrects him and tells him that it's a cave. Upon entering, they find a dinner invitation from Bruce's old friend, Oliver Queen. Kylie discovers a body and calls the others. Bruce hallucinates the corpse is talking to him and says that the corpse's name was Langstrom. While getting ready for dinner, Bruce sees a man watching him from outside. The man is Jason Blood, who is able to transform into the demon Etrigan. He is there to give a warning. Bruce's return to Gotham has set into motion a chain of events that will lead to its destruction. To prevent this, Bruce must fulfill a prophecy. First, he must find two spirits, one wrapped in bats and the other wrapped in flames. Next, he must die in order to become his true self. And finally, Gotham must be destroyed in order to save it. Being a man of science, Bruce doesn't believe any of this. He tries to apprehend Jason, who then turns into Etrigan and flees. Bruce, Dick, and Kylie head to Oliver's. This version of Ollie is a wealthy lush who also goes on hunting expeditions. Ollie has also invited their mutual friend, mayoral candidate Harvey Dent. Bruce is able to learn that Langstrom was a scientist who studied bats. During the conversation, Kylie noticed Harvey was flipping a coin. She asked him to show her the trick, and a nice bit of foreshadowing. He turns so that we, the viewer, can only see one side of his face. Being late, Bruce asks to stay the night. He leaves the kids with Ollie and takes to the roofs of Gotham in his batsuit for the first time. He arrives at Langstrom's. He finds evidence of occult practice and Langstrom's journal. The voiceover here is a fantastic performance from Jeffrey Combs, who starred as the principal character in the film adaptation of Lovecraft's Herbert West Reanimator. Anyways, in the journal, Langstrom writes of being in communication with bats who have warned him of a coming evil. The cult of Ghoul is led by an immortal woman named Talia, and is dedicated to opening a portal from Earth to a realm of ancient gods. They require a book called the Testament of Ghoul. This is this movie's version of the Necronomicon, and much like how a copy of that infamous Book of the Dead was kept at Miskatonic University, the Testament of Ghoul is stored at the Gotham University. There actually is a book in the Cthulhu mythos called the Cult of Ghoul or Cult de Ghoul, but it was not created by Lovecraft himself. It was a later author who added to the mythos. Anyways, Bruce taps into the phone lines to call the university library. The professor who answers claims ignorance, but Bruce watches from a distance as the man nervously retrieves the book from hiding. Talia appears and takes the book. She releases a creature called Daitya, which quickly enters the professor. Daitya isn't actually a comic book character. Daityas come from Hindu and Buddhist mythology, and they seem to be a type of demigod. Bruce arrives, and the Daitya transforms the professor. Etrigan enters the battle so Bruce can pursue the book. He catches up with Talia and realizes that she was the one who killed Langstrom to use Bruce to find the book. Talia calls out this world's version of Killer Croc. Bruce just barely manages to draw blood from the thing before he was forced to escape by train. Cut to an apparently drunk Ollie. He's clutching a green cross and sobbing about the sins of the father, and especially being sorry towards Bruce. At Gotham Harbor, Wayne's ship and the surrounding area are completely frozen. Ollie shows up somehow sober and distracts the cops so Dick can head to the ship. He's followed by a shadowy form in the water. Dick arrives to find Sanjay frozen to death and the freezer door open. Grendon begins to laugh before Croc bursts through the floor. Gordon, Ollie, and Kylie arrive moments later to find Dick ripped to pieces and Grendon missing. Talia starts to perform a ritual to resurrect her father Raish so they can summon the god Yog Sotha. This is obviously supposed to be Yog Sothoth. Now, when I watched this, I couldn't figure out why they would have changed the name until later on they mention another god that they called Yib Nagaroth. This is supposed to be the god I am only going to refer to as Shub. This is because the full name sounds like what you think it does. I won't say it because I don't trust the YouTube algorithm to understand context, and I assume that's also the reason why they changed it for the film. Anyway, Daitya arrives carrying a vial Etrigan has been trapped inside of. Daitya uses Hellfire to complete the resurrection of Raish. In the wine cellar, Alfred has brought Bruce a book on the occult. The book contains a map to a hidden temple. It also tells of a prophecy where Raj summons Yog Sotha. Bruce recognizes the book's map is of Gotham and uses sewer map to locate the temple. Word comes over the radio of Harvey Dent's mayoral win, referring to him as a gateway to hope for the city of Gotham. Raish declares that Dent is to be used as a literal doorway for Yog Sotha. Croc arrives with Grendon. Bruce follows the sewers and interrupts a ritual. Croc attacks, but Bruce hits him with a vial that dissolves the monster. He feels there's a scientific explanation for everything that's happening. Talia attacks Bruce while Raish completes the ritual. Reptiles burst forth and attack Bruce. The floor collapses and he falls into a pool that looks like a Lazarus pit. The liquid in the pit also looks reminiscent of the reanimation serum that Herbert West used. Reptiles begin to flood the streets of Gotham. Bruce climbs back to the surface. Surrounded by chaos, seeing the clock tower triggers a repressed memory. That night as a child, Bruce saw a glimpse of the coming horror. The bats tell him that only the bat can stop the darkness. The taint of madness incurred that night is the reason for his obsessions, and the reason he dresses like a bat. In the present, Alfred locates a disoriented Bruce. This is probably my favorite shot in the movie because of the way the mask conveys Bruce's mental state. Raish states that Grendon has the key that will open the door, Harvey Dent. Talia kills Grendon, and he coughs up a spore that grows into poison ivy. Back in the wine cellar, Bruce is losing it. He's staring into the cave, talking to himself, and refusing to remove the costume. Even news of Dick and Sanjay's deaths didn't faze him. Poison Ivy poses as a normal citizen and congratulates Mayor Dent on his victory. As they shake hands, she smears something onto his skin. Kylie finds Oliver in his estate's chapel. He is dressed in knight's armor, bearing a green cross whose ends are arrowheads. He tells her he has been trying to atone for the sins of his father, which included murdering the Waynes. His hunting trips were actually about training himself. He also acquired relics like a mystical dagger and 4 arrows covered in the blood of Saint Sebastian. Sebastian was a man persecuted for being Christian. He was tied to a tree or pole and shot full of arrows. His miracle was not dying, so for some reason his blood can kill anything, I guess. In the wine cellar, we are shown that Bruce has actually been talking to Langstrom's rotting corpse. It tells him that he needs to commune with the bats. Harvey Dent has gone to see his doctor, whose name is Herbert West. Whatever poison ivy smeared on him is causing a reaction on that half of his body. Back in the chapel, Poison Ivy in her true form attacks Ollie. Knowing that he can't win, he pulls a grenade and kills them both. He passes his weapons to Bruce before dying. Talia approaches a disfigured Dent, now looking like his Two-Face persona. He begs for death, but she has other plans for him. Dick and Sanjay are laid to rest. Bruce feels remorse, wondering if an open mind might have prevented these tragedies. Detective Gordon came to tell Bruce that his daughter wanted to talk. Kylie recognizes the name Barbara Gordon as the Oracle, a famous psychic medium. Bruce returns to the cave to fully equip himself. Alfred understands that this is the last time they will see each other, and Bruce leaves Kylie in charge. Barbara is being housed at Arkham Asylum. An unspecified accident took her vision, damaged her vocal cords, and left her in a wheelchair. It also granted her the ability to speak to the dead. She begins to channel, and Bruce enters a conversation with his father. Thomas Wayne reveals the secret history of Gotham. He is over 300 years old, and was among the first settlers along with the Queens, the Cobblepots, and the Langstroms. Survival in Gotham was difficult in the beginning. Cobblepot would eventually find the hidden temple below the city and the Testament of Ghoul. The four men read from the book and performed blood sacrifices. As a result, Gotham flourished and the four men were granted eternal life. Thomas explains that these actions are what sent current events into motion. He tells Bruce that this conversation is the first step in accepting the supernatural. Bruce returns to Langstrom's and uses the altar there to commune with the bats. They tell him that in order to stop what's coming, he must join with them. He agrees to this and descends to the temple in the bowels of Gotham. At the entrance of the temple, Bruce finds Harvey Dent. The half of his body that had been perverted has grown into the wall to create a portal to a different realm. Exiting the portal, Bruce finds the twisted, reanimated corpses of Ollie, Sanjay, and Dick. He defeats each one with a Sebastian arrow and enters the next chamber. While Raish performs the summoning, Talia attacks Bruce. She throws him over the edge, but he is able to use his grapple to impale her. He then retracts and uses the final Sebastian arrow to kill her. He's too late to stop the summoning. He takes Ollie's dagger and stabs Raish and severs his arm. It is too late, though, as Ayog-Sotha's arrival causes Raish to transform into a Cthulhu-type being. Bruce takes a beating and remembers his deal with the bats and embraces it. He undergoes a change and finally emerges as Batman. He thrashes Raish, but is too late to stop Ayog-Sotha's incursion into our reality. Batman remembers Etrigan and frees him from his bottle. Etrigan is able to single-handedly push the Elder God back through the rift while Batman escapes. Batman died and became the spirit wrapped in bats. Together with Etrigan, the spirit wrapped in flames, they stopped Ayog-Sotha, though Gotham was left in flames. Therefore, the prophecy has been fulfilled. Sometime later, Gotham is thriving as Reconstruction begins. Kylie is now head of the Wayne Foundation. Bruce might be gone, but the Batman now keeps watch. So just some final thoughts I have. The music and sound on this film are phenomenal, and they're integral into creating the atmosphere. There's a tangible feeling of dread in this story. The casting, especially Jeffrey Combs' Langstrom, was perfect. It was also a nice little Easter egg. The film has several of those, so if you're familiar with any of the H.P. Lovecraft stories or any of his stories that have been adapted into other medium, you might see little things that you recognize. Ultimately, though, this is the Batman story I didn't know I needed. If you're into Lovecraft, cosmic horror, the supernatural, I definitely say you owe it to yourself to check it out. Alright, so let me know if you've seen this and what you think. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.